people are late coming. So,
so Roz, while people are still coming in, let me go ahead and start chatting so we don't get going really late here. So I'm Margaret Fago, the president of the Frank Betts Center for the Arts. And some of you know me. I see a few of my students that are showing up on faces there, and I see a number of people that I've met elsewhere. So welcome. This is our first time doing a demo like this, and we're hoping to do them monthly. You'll be finding information about it on our website under special events.
I'm going to be talking about sort of the process that I use for design and painting when I'm outdoors. But because we're not painting outdoors so much, well, some people do and some people don't. I've been painting a lot more in the studio. And so, but the techniques that I use are pretty much the same that I would as if I was painting outdoors. So what you're going to see tonight is sort of the design process and then the painting process. Of how I go about looking at a scene and designing it and deciding what to draw, what to paint. Okay.
so Dave,
So here we are. I'm going to talk about the design process, the painting process. We'll take a break around 7 o'clock. And you could do the chat and the question and the answers during that time, and actually start the bidding for the auction. The painting that I'm going to do tonight is going to be donated and auctioned off to the by the Frank Bett as a fundraiser. So it's my honor to do this. I'm going to wrap up the painting about 7:45, and then we close the bidding at 7:55, and we're out of here at 8 o'clock. So bio breaks about, I want to say 7:10 or so, okay? If you need information on how to contact me, it's down over here if you want to write that down. I got a text, website, and email address. You can get a hold of me. So I want to talk a little about the plein air style of painting that I use in watercolor. And I've developed this painting process in response to painting outdoors with changing light, wind, rain, people kind of elements. And what I found is that one has to make decisions about what to paint given the time frame of the changing light. So the kind of style of how I paint is I paint very quickly. And you'll probably see this. I'm not terribly accurate or get into a lot of detail at the beginning. I sort of start big and with big washes and so on and so forth. So that's a little about the painting or the design process. I'm going to go over a little more. But here's the scene in Alameda, Park Street and Central. And I've done this scene before, and I've chosen it because this is my first time doing a Zoom demo, so I may as well do something that I'm somewhat familiar with. So, like if you go on Zoom, or I mean on Google Earth, you see scenes like this, but they use the kind of camera that sort of a wide angle and sort of opens things up a lot. So what I chose to do is I rode down there a couple of days ago and shot this scene. But from this scene, I have to decide, just like I'd be outdoors, is what am I going to do with this? This is a very interesting shape. Say, for example, this is a very iconic Alameda Theater sign here. And the corner here is nice, bright colors here. Everything else in the background is somewhat muted. And sort of the way I like this scene is that this part of the building sort of pops and it demands a lot of attention, primarily because of its color. It's a very bright building. These buildings on the left over here, as you see, are way off, in this composition. So I went, what if things were, as a plein air artist, one can decide what's in and what's out. And that is the whole thing about doing plein air. Now, some of the people who are in the audience tonight may or may not be artists. So I'm going to be sort of talking a little about my process, and some of it's technical. Most people want to know, what are you doing? Artists want to know, why are you doing it? So chime in here in the chat if you have, why did you do this, or what are you using, or how did you make that kind of decision? I'm all open to that, and we'll try to make it as interactive as possible, as if I'm doing it live, which I am, okay? As I mentioned, painting quickly to capture a scene is what I do best. I do like urban kind of landscape, urban landscapes with some kind of activity going on, generally in the scene. People walking, eating, crossing, cars moving, that kind of thing. It makes for a more dynamic kind of thing, and I like to capture those things of everyday life, okay? So from here, I had to decide, what kind of composition to get out of this. And so what I did is a couple of really small thumbnail sketches, thumbnail meaning small. What if I did a horizontal kind of composition, or something more vertical? Like, for example, this vertical sign here. So, portrait or landscape. Those are the kind of decisions you want. And what I'm looking at in a scene like this in particular is, let me use this pencil to outline it, is I'm looking at this kind of a shape here, the sky, this sky shape, and then everything that's on the earth here. What is that shape? Is that interesting? I call it the EKG. If it looks like an EKG and it's irregular, I sort of like that. This one over here, this horizontal, if you look at that shape, it's got a big rectangular kind of function, shape here, and then a smaller one over here. So it's like that. I decided that I'm going to use this vertical one. And so this little sketch here, I actually kind of do a line drawing. Let me show you this. Yeah. I'll put this over here. Of what am I thinking about in terms of this sky and earth shape? So if you look here, this is all the sky and this is the earth. I'm going to put, say, a tree form in here. So this makes it sort of up and down. I like that kind of movement that goes up and down, and keep the sky quiet and have all these other shapes tell the story of what this street scene is. I mean, just think about if this didn't have this vertical. I mean, what we're talking about is basically a very simple shape. It doesn't have any verticals in it, and it could just be like a V shape, and that's okay, but it's a little boring if it's just the kind of design that isn't something that I want to do. I'm looking for ups and downs and connectivity here. So that is what I prefer to do, and that's what I'm going to do tonight. I took this scene and did a that line drawing, which you see here. I put it. I took a photo of it and then reduced it. So then I could deal with what are the values I'm going to paint in here. All right. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just go ahead and start this painting. Move this out of the way. and show you some of the painting process. These are the kind of brushes I use, basically pointed ones. The two paints in watercolor. Just go ahead and paint, and then if you have questions, go ahead and direct your questions over to Roz. Mixing up some blue for the sky, big batch of that. So there's the cool colors. And then my palette here, I have warm at the top and cool at the bottom. So. I'm gonna mix up a little warm.
So David,
Yeah,
did you take the tracing paper and place it underneath the watercolor paper to make your pencil sketch?
no, I placed it right over the top of this and then traced it.
Okay.
Then I took a picture of it, and then I made the, put it at 5x7 images or whatever it is. And then I could paint directly on those for the value study. In other words, I could just take that paint and paint right over the sky or whatever it is. With
Got
paint.
it.
Yeah. It's a very simple way to, start testing out values and whatnot. Okay, all right, get some paper towels. So I got a warm and a cool, a little yellow, orange, and then a blue. This board that I'm using here, I have a tissue box here, and it's slanted, so it's about 20 degrees or so. Here's if it was flat, and here's what it looks like when I tilt it down. I have this thing tilted so it does a run down. So this is a light wash of blue, and you can see that I have that bead right there of color, and then I'm gonna just start blending in here, paint right through it. I'm putting a light wash on this. Where I have those figures, I'm gonna put a little tape, little masking tape, where some of these figures are going. That way I could paint right over them and actually save the whites. In watercolor, we're saving white paint here. White paper, the white of the paper. So I'm just putting a little masking tape, and it allows me to paint right through and save some of those whites. I'm gonna warm that up with a little more orange in here. Now these lights do mute some of the colors, and then what I'm seeing on the screen is actually a little brighter. So I'm heading back to the blue. I'm gonna warm that up to make it a little grayer here, warmer gray. Oops, not too dark. There we go. There we go. So this is pretty moist in here now. For the crosswalks, I'm going to go ahead and lift some of that crosswalk out of here. Actually, this is drawn in, for those of you who want to get a little technical, it's called 1-point perspective. And the vanishing point is like right this guy's head here. I'm gonna lift out some of these crosswalks. This is still wet. Very light tint on this. You can see my little white saved whites are there with the masking tape. I don't know what that is. There's probably some kind of tape or something. But very smooth, graded wash, you know, going from cool to warm, back to cool and then warm down here at the bottom. All right, but still, I'm going to strengthen this bottom a little more. This in here. That's good. I'm going to give this to Karen, and then she's going to dry it for me. And then I'm going to talk a little more about doing these value studies here. So, as I mentioned before, I did this line drawing. I took a photo of it, and I did a couple of copies of it side by side here. So I see the line drawing. But I want to show you, when we talk about values, I'm talking about relative dark and light. And what I'm looking for is a value pattern that I want to incorporate, irregardless of the color. It's just the values, how light and how dark this needs to be. Let me see if I can get. There we go. So I've decided I'm going to have a shadow coming across here. This window over here is dark. This awning over here is dark. I go around the figure a little. Back in here, dark. I have a car. And then coming across this side over here, I have another car, maybe one over here. And then I have these storefronts that are over here. I'm going to put over here. So what I talked about was this, in terms of design here, what I have, if you could look at this, it's like an inverted T. An L, and then another leg over here with the T, all right? So just as a basic shape here, or where the darks are at, I have a very simplified underpainting that's suggesting this design, this type of design, which is a strong kind of design. Things that you do in the foreground to connect the foreground, for example, I can now connect the foreground, come across here. Yeah, but I know where the darks are going to be, and I want you to focus right in here. So my darkest darks are going to be in here. As you recede in this background, even though these trees in this composition are dark, I've chose to make them sort of a light medium value here. These are the kind of decisions that you make before one goes ahead and starts painting before the paint even hits the paper without this roadmap here, you're going to be going down the road and not knowing where you're going to go. But this gives you a hint on, where my dark's going to go, where my medium values are going to go. How is all of this going to tie together? So in a very
David?
simplistic kind of way, this is sort of the roadmap.
David,
Yes.
what kind of paper do you use for your value studies?
I'm using a neutral tint. Hold on a sec. Got the phone ringing over here. Hold on. Oh, wrong phone. All right. The joys of a home office, right? Okay, so what was that question? I use a neutral tint.
Yeah, no, what kind of paper was it?
What kind of paint?
Paper.
Oh, paper. This is just for this?
Yes.
Oh, print paper. Don't get the shiny print paper. Get the cheap copy paper from your printer. That's it.
Okay.
You know, cheaper the better. All right, because you're just trying to do this little study here. But you can see, there's where the darks are gonna go. Boom, half that painting will paint itself now. I'm good to go. The rest is, how much detail I'm putting in here, trees and all this other stuff. So in a very simplistic kind of way, this is the roadmap. Without this, you're not going to go too far. Okay. Karen?
Yeah.
I need the paint. Let me have the painting back. She took my painting. It doesn't have to be completely dry. We got to get going here. Show on the road. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So again, to those of you who joined us a little later, you can use the chat function under the More 3 dots to ask questions. Direct them to the host, and I'll ask David.
Yeah, so far so good. There's my road map, and this is where I'm heading. And now, when I'm painting, I just got to pay attention to what's all going on here. All right, so a few brushes here. All right.
David, can you talk a little bit about your palette and the colors you usually use?
Sure. I have your normal red, yellow, and blues. Cool reds, warm reds, yellows, and a gold here, quinopteron gold. And then on earth tone side, I have brown and burnt sienna and ochres. These are just some grays, some things that I don't use very often. They're a little more opaque. And then I start getting from this side down is cool colors. I use an olive green, cobalt teals, cobalt turquoise, a dark perylene green. And then all these you see down here are all cool blues here, with the cobalt, ultramarine, neutral tint. Here in the corner, sort of the darkest, it's like a black. You can see this right in through here, this black. And then when you mix it with red, it turns purplish gray. Put it over there. So that's the palette, and good deep wells here for mixing paint.
Stunning.
What color is this? Dark. I'm going to go ahead and test some of the darks that I'm going to use. It just, when I do it this early stage, this is the thing that I want to know right away. How dark should dark be? And that's pretty dark in there. If I remember, some of this window in here was I'll futz with this later, but I just want to I tend to want to know if I'm going to go dark in, and especially over here, you see that dark in there, it's already, get that guy in there now. Blue.
David, you try to match the colors in the original photo, or just use the ones you like?
I use the ones I like, but I like to, if it's something that I really like this yellow orange of the building, I will go ahead and put that in. These are all, I'm just floating these colors in here. Dropping them in is a dark. I'm just trying to build up the values in here. Here's an orange, a red. See, at this stage, I want to get where the bottom of the building is. It did have sort of this warm tone at the bottom in here. I'll put that in. There's some people sitting around there, a body in there. While you're up there, generally the way I set this up is I put the warm colors at the top up here, and then my cool colors and neutrals are down and through here. That's sort of the way I organize, for the most part, my palette and how I use it as well. So,
What kind of brush are you using right now, David?
this brush here is a 16. This synthetic. I'm just going to sock this color in here. Get it done. Leave a little white in there, the bottom. A little more yellow. Looks bright, right? It is. You get my sunglasses on here.
It'll dry lighter though, right?
Yes. You have to have faith that it will. Or I try not to, go back in once I put this color down I try to get it right the first time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And of course, you'll make adjustments. If you look at this value study here, sort of a light value here, and relatively speaking, this is actually darker than this. It's more like what that would be. The way I would adjust it is when I put the shadows in later on in the painting, we'll get an idea of relative light and dark, because this hasn't gone dark yet. So the details up on that roof area here, there's these cornice here. I got a nice turquoise in here, put next to this red, and get some pop out of it here. Okay. Darker. Hey, Greg, give me a thumbs up if you're with me, man. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me.
So David, you never worry about going over the pencil lines if some of them are left in the painting, it doesn't bother you?
No, actually, I don't usually even draw this much. With all of this, I just sort of put that roof line in, and then what I'm doing now is I'm really more or less drawing with the brush right now, and I'll get more mileage out of trying to explain what this painting process is when I actually get in and draw with the brush. Figure out. So all this is going to get, according to my value study, it's going to get pretty dark in here, except for where this sign is going to go. So I got to leave that white there, and sort this out.
David, what brush were you using for the roof?
God, fuck.
The brush?
The brush.
Who cares what fucking brush is? Excuse me. Yeah.
This one?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So this is a Skoda synthetic Superla. There we go. So I have dark against light. This is going to get light. Dark, light, sort of part of that.
I can hear some folks in the background, so please mute if you have not already. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, is it time for some red? Sure. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now, all this brightness has got to be neutralized by something pretty darn neutral. Putting lots of color back in here is deadly. It'll compete with what's going on here. So in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, I need to put down, this is that marquee. Okay. All right. Did I turn off the video or something?
No, we can see you. We can see your workspace.
Okay.
It's kind of a delay.
It's kind of a delay.
Yeah.
So if everyone else can make sure their video is turned off. It looks a little out of focus. I'm not sure what's going on there, David, but just a little.
Yeah, I see that. I'm not sure why. I wonder if it's because of,
No, I don't think so. It's not you.
I think it's something's not streaming right here.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking people to turn off stop their video and their audio, and that way we can, hopefully it'll get a little clearer.
Okay.
Still see it quite well though. We've got 45 people watching this, and so it's
Big drain.
creates a little interference.
Want to test it?
Oh, this brush here, 50 cents. It's a wood glue brush from the hardware store, and it works just right. Perfect for trees and that kind of stuff. That,
That's clear, David, as long as,
good.
you know, a big object like your head doesn't get in front of it, it stays pretty sharp.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay, coming around. I'll put these darks over here. So who knows what this color is over here? It's left over, and if I mix it up, it gets to like a medium value gray, which I'm going to stick underneath these storefronts right here. The storefronts become cars. Think about these little cars here. If you make one nice, all the other ones become believable. So let me get a decent one here. Okay. This is what I call sort of the ugly stage. You don't quite, you know, it's not all pulled together yet because it's lacking. It's right in between being a little abstract and a little detail. You know, at this stage, long as I stick to this value study in here, I'm confident I'll be able to work this out. So I know this is a marquee. It's quite dark in here.
So David, it's about almost 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure whether you wanted to take a break or go a little longer.
I think I'm good for a break now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that question, I guess it's Marie. I'm pretty much trying to stay with this value study here. So keep these trees muted here, pump this up. So this is going to be the star of the show, then the supporting cast in here. I'll start to put some color along in here to get some of these colors across the street here. So answer the question, after I put in these muted colors in the background, I decided to get in through here, pretty much similar to what's going on in the value study. I'm going to link this left side with this side over here. So I'm going to carry a line of dark in through here to connect over to here. So that's, after I do this little background here, I'm going to go into the darks and start to put them in here to connect. I'm back, Roz. So
Okay, I was just asking what whether that was an olive green for the trees.
Olive green.
Yeah, it's an olive green, but it's muted with a little bit of it's like a gray green. Let me show you here.
Pretty.
So here's like an olive.
Uh-huh.
Then I add a little bit of a darker green to that, muted it down. It's got a little gray in it, so it does.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's pretty.
Then if you just use the olive green, you know, it's that.
Uh-huh.
See the difference?
Yeah.
Adding a little, you know, graying it down, it's cools it down a little. Yeah, it's a little cooler. See that?
You make trees look easy.
They are if you don't fuss with them too much, right?
Yeah, it's true.
You know, I'll probably make some adjustments in that tree over there. Sort of depends on what I do in here. So planning out sort of these next steps. Pop some color in here. Put this car in the foreground, pop that forward. And then work on these figures and start to, you know, punch those up. And of course the shadows. Oh, so, you know, I was thinking about how to do this this Alameda sign,
Uh-huh.
because it's, it's printed, you have to sort of plan out, the size of the letters before you get started here, so you don't, I got these little tick marks I'm gonna put here for the letters that spell Alameda,
Well, that's a good idea.
just so I could block it out. And they're actually sort of, like a red kind of color, and so I'll take a small chisel brush. Now, this is the kind of thing where you don't want to, if you're going to do lettering, you sort of want to not make it too prominent, especially if it's in the background. So there's an A, and it ends with an A, right? Right. And then the M is in the middle. So halfway in between here is an M. Right.
I'll ask you to go over that again in 2 minutes when everyone's back.
Yeah. But see,
Right. That's a good way to do it.
yeah. You sort of start at the ends and work, put the middle letter in the middle, and then work, the sizing up in that way. So, but in this one, I don't want it too prominent, to hold back. We'll start up in another minute or so.
I hope everybody is enjoying this. I know I am. It's really great to see David's process. He is so good at just diving in and getting a painting done, and getting it done right the first time. Those of us that have painted for years know that that takes a skill. His drawing skills really show here, and I love his color combinations and the way he's showing us the composition that's working through here. So hopefully, if anyone who's interested in his painting, we are going to be auctioning it off as a fundraiser to help support the Frank Betts Center while we're having to be closed during this time of virus pandemic. So anyway, I'm gonna close myself back off and shut up again.
Okay.
David, I had a question for you, what that old splayed brush was. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a wood glue brush. Bought at the hardware store. It's a 1/2-inch one, and it's pretty old. I've actually trimmed some of the hairs off it to make it do this. So if you're doing trees, boom, it's done, right? It's like, boom. It's pretty scratchy looking. Makes it irregular.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
cool.
It's pretty old, and I don't throw them away. They're still good. After a while, you get used to using them and how to use them. So during the break, I actually started painting I'm reinforcing some of this color in here. I'm noticing I'm cleaning this up a little.
And then if you get a chance, tell us how you're doing the Alameda sign. That's an interesting approach.
Yeah, so what I did is I blocked it out, and I need to actually move the A up a little. Actually, I think I might be okay. E. You start up here at the top letters, and I'm using a 1/2-inch wide brush here, and I put the A. The M is sort of the middle of the word, and then the end. All right, so now you have 1, 2, 3, and then EDMEDA. So I have an E here.
L.
Oh, yeah, Al. It's Al. And then an A. Another A here. I'm not getting too thick with the paint here. I'm just suggesting it. E, D. And now this A needs to be actually moved up here. So what I'm going to do is erase this. No problem. And then move the A up in through here. We'll fix that up a little later. But just block in these letters. Oh, not a lot of attention to it. It actually has a dark border around it and through here. Let me get a dark. Make sure you don't drink coffee before you do this line work. Here we go. Let that dry, because then I'm going to end up putting a shadow across some of these, some of this lettering here. Okay, so the next thing in here, oh, green, maybe a little red one here. This guy's gonna have blue. I'll put blue over here. Oh, okay. I'm trying to take some of these colors that I've used up in here and put them down in through here randomly. It's enough just to hint the color there. It's fine. I know they have signs and different things. Probably some kind of a signage thing going on. That's good. There we go. Good. Okay. So I'm going to remove the tape that saves some of these people. I'm going to put a hoodie on them. Boom. Right. There we go.
David, I noticed that you use the same colors about 3 times. I'm seeing that blue in a couple of different places. I assume you do that on purpose.
Yeah, like if I said the word yellow, all of a sudden you're looking for yellow, right?
Uh-huh.
And if I said red,
Yep.
your mind goes to red, right? It starts to pick out all the red. So that's true. In here, so I'm going to put in a bluish green here. That red, I could put in I don't know what that's going to be, but I'm going to put a figure in there. I'll put in someone's head. Just noticing this is a little too dark for me. I have a stop sign sitting right in through here. I'll put in.
David, do you generally only use transparent colors?
No, sometimes I use opaque. Oop. Check. Okay. I haven't put the shadows in yet, so that'll.
Good, good. I was listening to, I was looking at
They're gonna mute themselves.
the artist, no, he posts watercolors on the patch once in a while. They're incredible. And he's demonstrating right now, which is incredible. Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Go ahead and mute everybody, Bros, if that's.
They should already be muted.
It's starting to come alive. That's good. Okay. All right. Yes, windows. Windows.
Thank you, Marcia. Take care. Okay, thanks.
Okay, looking good. Okay, I'm almost ready for shadow in here now. Actually, there's a couple of street lights that are in here. I don't have a problem putting a couple of them in here just to get some vertical. Okay. Street light. Here and down. Well, you could put in these big street lights down or leave it out. May need something in here.
We're getting requests to leave it out.
Leave it out. Okay. Forget that, huh? I got enough in through here anyhow. Just suggest some of the street lights and that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to mix up a good shadow color and look back at this value study, and I have a shadow come in through here. This whole side of the building is in shadow, and some cast shadows along here that once those get put in, and probably some kind of a shadow. Let me get a little paper. Hold on. There are times when I have to decide what kind of design I want for the foreground. So far, we had these, you know, this kind of thing happening, which is the street. That's fine. And we could strengthen that. Just put in the street in here. Get some of this warm gray in through here. So now you have, you know, something that resembles street, and then right now I've left the sidewalk pretty much bare in there. I'm going to,
Want me to try it?
I'm going to have, I have to decide what sort of foreground design in there, but I'm going to have Karen go ahead and dry this. And I could probably work off of this value study. And I've put some acetate over the top of it and figure out what kind of shadow pattern. Now there's a little shiny in here, but it's acetate. And so I call it what if paper. So what if I added a shadow, say along here, come across here and tie it into the shadow there. Shadow underneath there. One and through there. And then onto the sidewalk into this car. Maybe it doesn't need to be that strong, but you know, from a design perspective, big strong diagonal, and then coming maybe across here with another diagonal. So these are design decisions that one can make without really committing to, and then to try another one. What if I did something not as drastic? Come across this way with it. And that's, you know, what you have to decide upon. So what I'm going to do is, you know, put these shadows in here. And then decide, and there's going to be another shadow coming across here. Maybe it won't be that bold, but so that's what I'm thinking right now. And so before I decide what to do with this foreground, I'm going to go ahead and put the shadow pattern up in here and then look back at it and see, well, what kind of foreground would be appropriate. Or do nothing. That's the other thing. You could choose, I'm not quite sure what I want to do. So in the meantime, I'm going to mix up a complementary, okay, so it's warm building, cool shadows. It's always the opposite. If it's a cool building, you put warm shadows. If it's a warm building, put cool shadows. So a cool color in here is going to be, and it's opposite the color wheel, probably some kind of blue violet, maybe more on the bluer side. Like that. I think like in there. So we know that if it looks good in here, it's going to come out lighter here. So I'm going to punch it up just a little. Like that. And this is the bold part. Put a little diagonal into here, come down the other side. Okay. A little more muted version of that for back over here. A little more muted. There we go. On the sidewalk. So the direction of my sun's coming in through here. So this is going to cast shadow in through here. This guy's got a little bit of shadow in through here. Just a little bit of yeah. I'm using this color to connect all my shadows. You see that? Well, what does that do for the painting? Supposedly, and hopefully I'm successful at this, it adds some unity to the color scheme here throughout it and unifies the painting through here. So now that I have these shadows done, what could happen on this foreground? I know there's another building across the street that's coming in through here and probably creating a shadow in through here. It doesn't have to go all the way across, but maybe something to suggest I want to counteract that diagonal there. It's not too strong, but this in through here, probably another one through here. And once you do it, you got to commit. So let me, this is a do or die thing. It's going to work out. Light. There we go. And what happens over there, put a little in through here and continue it. Nice transparency in through here. I like that, what's going on there. That's pumped up a little. The sign's really popping good. So we're right at about a quarter to 7:45 completed. So I'm actually open for questions or comments, and go ahead, feel free to chat. And
What I'll do,
I had a lot of fun doing this.
I'll unmute everybody and we'll put it back. We'll take off the spotlight David. So, and put it back on gallery view. And
Just wait. Okay, now they can hear you. I can mute again.
I thought he was gonna do the building shadow a little bit more too, the one we put on the street. I mean, I'm surprised he left it so rough, edged.
Oh, yeah. Put the mat on it, it makes it real.
There
You
goes,
put the mat on and it just makes it. Almost. Because it's on
Oh, it's
gallery view.
Very good.
yeah. I like the way, when he did that shadow on the building, I thought it actually turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
So he uses what, complementary colors then, huh?
so I've asked anybody who wants to unmute. You can also turn on your video and visit with David for a few minutes and ask questions. He's gone, but we'll be back in a minute. There he is.
Yeah.
Well, just a comment here. Just a comment here, David, it was just really interesting to see you pass through what you called an ugly duckling stage. And I'd say when you started adding those shadows, wow, did the painting start to come together. It was transformational. That was really fun to watch.
That's my favorite part. A lot of times like I said, it's when you have the, that value study, it's the key. If you know where you're going and you end up here, that's, you know, irregardless of the colors and all of that, that's the roadmap there. You just got to follow it. Trust it. It's going to happen.
Down here, you mean?
Yeah. Well, it makes it light.
Yeah. The other part's so light. Yeah, you're right. Makes this part light.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I like the building, where the shadow worked on the building.
So if there are any questions, we're getting a lot of thank you for your demo.
Yeah. Thank you, David.
Comments.
So is it every month then?
No, this is one time.
Oh,
So we're going to close the,
you're a different artist.
This is the first one.
we'll
Oh,
probably close the bidding pretty soon. So the bidding is currently at $150,
Wow.
which is pretty dirt cheap for beautiful work. So whoops, now it's up to 180. That's good. Let's start a bidding war here.
I do have another question, or a question, David. I know, some people will say not to put a focal point in the middle. And I guess
To be a famous artist, it's worth the investment.
the building is the focal point rather than the Alameda sign, really, isn't it?
Yeah, if you look at like that edge
Mhm.
as sort of the border of where, if that was in the middle, then I would have a problem with it. So just
Okay.
off to the side a little. I knew I was going to put a shadow in here and sort of pull the contrast off to this side. You follow me?
Yeah. Okay.
But that, this vanishing point, up here in the middle, you have to do things to offset that. Even though the perspective is coming down the middle, you're going to want to, pull shadows or the colors or shapes to one side or the other to get
Okay.
it off middle. And Frank, this is down the middle right now. But also this is connected shape, hopefully. It could be stronger probably in 3, but this edge here is pulled off the middle.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's beautiful. How do I tell them?
Yellow building looks.
So you got another 5 minutes for bidding.
Love the painting.
David, I'm going to spotlight your picture again, your painting.
Slide this over here.
I think it's fine.
And hopefully that'll help the bidding, but everyone can ask questions of David as we're waiting.
So much fun, Mom.
Oh, good.
I'm
Yeah,
so
that
glad
was
you
good
made
too. Now you can do a
enjoyed it.
picture. I guess I'm gonna leave, Mom. Did you want to stay?
I'm staying.
I mean, did you want to leave or stay? 'Cause I'm ready to leave. Do you want to?
Oh,
Do you want to?
well, I want a cookie.
Oh yeah.
Because I just gave all my cake away. Gave it to Jessica and Sherry, who need it like a whole.
You know, they got half of it. Half of what was left. Because Shelley didn't get any.
She didn't.
She didn't want
As
All
a-
right,
That's why.
No, she didn't like it.
Hey, Roz,
yes.
as a bonus, I'm going to sign this.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Thank you. I think that's great. Our bidding is up to $225,
Oh.
and I hope people are still bidding.
Get there from tens.
David, do you sign it with the paint or with a pencil or a pen? or-
Yeah, when it's dry, I'll sign it with the. I use pencil.
You do?
Yeah,
And why do you use pencil rather than paint it in?
it's what I started off in kindergarten with. I'm
You
old
ti-
school. I am old school.
Do you write a title on it?
No. But if you buy it for $500, I'll put anything on it for you.
So
I'll put Suzanne's hot dogs. How's that?
So you find a lighter area that'll show the pencil, and that's where you sign.
That's it. Yeah, just
Left corner.
still a little wet here, but
Yeah.
So we're getting lots of comments saying how lovely it is on the chat.
I'm afraid I cannot bid, but I will definitely be doing, to bid. I really appreciate your doing this, all of you, that we're together.
Everybody ready to leave?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
When I put it through in the hair, we'll both.
want to say hello to Stan B.
Yes.
While we're waiting, I guess I do have another question, and that is, do you have kind of a strategy for doing people?
For doing people? Yeah. You seen my dot smash legs?
Oh, yes.
Oh, have you seen dot smash legs?
I have, yes.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah, that's wonderful. Dot smash legs.
dot. Here's the dot smash legs, man. At your service. Dot smash. Oops. Where's my water at? Karen took my water away.
Oh,
Smash legs.
yeah.
Love it.
This tall person.
You can make a whole family here. You know, kids.
Do the dog.
Oh, the dog. Yeah. So
Again.
smash, tail, leg, leg, leg. Yeah. All right. So,
A little bit of the ear.
and then you have another puppy here. Only put 3 legs in. Oh, and she's the leashes, right?
Yeah, leash law.
Put them on the
I
ground.
love it.
Yeah.
Also, your approach to cars, David, if you could do a snapshot on the cars as we wait.
Yeah.
Oh, the cars? Sure. Yeah. So the cars are relative to people, cars are, going to be.
They're coming to noise.
This is a sort of a front view of a car.
A land yacht.
I'm going to soften that a little. So whoever buys this gets this bonus postcard with trees, bushes.
Now, do you change anything when you do an angle? Do you have to change your approach when you do an angled car?
With the side of it, like this thing here. You got to show 3 wheels rather than 2. It like this. Right?
That's great.
SUV. Cool.
E-Rack.
So dot smash legs, smash 3 legs, a tail, and we're all good to go.
That's great. It's so freeing.
Instant family, huh?
Well,
I
that's
hope that was
wonderful.
entertaining for everybody.
That was great.
It
Rod,
has been. We're going to wait 30 more seconds for the late bidders. Our current bid is at $225, and
Hey,
How'd we get there?
quickly
Well, by tens?
by tens.
How'd we get to a 5?
I don't know.
the $5 is extra.
15.
Ah,
You're getting a
Thank you,
request, David, for a quick bicycle.
She wants you to do a bicycle.
A bicycle? Oh,
Quick bicycle.
oh my. Okay, hold on. Bicycle. Oh,
What do you want?
there we go. Okay. So somebody on a bike.
Right.
All right. I start with, Karen's going to take this away here. I start with the head. I think the torso, the arms. It's you. Put one leg this way and one leg down a little lower, and then there, right? Oh, okay. The quicker you do it, the better. Somebody who's racing is gonna pedal. Okay, Roz, you're got the bids going there?
We do. We're still at, I think we've got,
All right.
I'm waiting for one last, but I think we're close. There we go. Thank you very much. And the winner is Paul Feinberg for $250. Thank you, Paul.
Yay.
We really appreciate it. You can just donate that amount on our website, and we're very appreciative. David will bring over the painting to the center, and you can pick it up there.
nice.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It really was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And thanks
And,
for coming.
Thank you, it was great.
David.
We
All
hope
right.
to do this again on Wednesday. Our next one will be September 9th, Wednesday, from 6 to 8, and Marie Massey will be demonstrating. And so you want to see that one. We're looking forward to it. And then Mandar Wagaholker will be with us in October. and we're gonna keep going. So we have more artists that are eager to sign on, and we're happy to have them. So thank you all for joining us.
Nice.
Thank you.
AL, right?
You are.
No, P-A-U-L.
Yeah, you are.
All right, I'm gonna
He's a
leave the meeting
biker, he'll
on.
forgive me.
You guys can leave the meeting, and I'll stay on with David and Margaret for just a few minutes. But thank you, everyone else who joined us.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. This was wonderful.
Thank you. It was
David,
wonderful.
thank you for doing a great demo.
It's amazing how fast he can do it, isn't it? It's really amazing.
Beautiful.
Well, I've seen him out painting on the street on Park Street, and he can do it just as fast out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, looking good.
Looks different.